And now we're going to kick it over to our on-the-spot correspondents, Laura and Tim, who are covering Moonrise Kingdom.
Hi, I'm Tim.
And I'm Laura. Today we're going to be reviewing Moonrise Kingdom. Here's the trailer.
What kind of bird are you?
I'm a sparrow. She's a dove.
No, I said, what kind of bird are you? Dear Susie, here's my plan.
Dear Sam, my answer is yes.
Dear Susie, 1.
Dear Sam, where?
Dear Susie, walk 400 yards due north from your house to the dirt path which has not got any name on it. Turn right and follow to the end. I will meet you in the meadow.
Who's missing? Shukusky, you in there? Jiminy Cricket, he flew the coop.
Walt, where the hell are you?
Right here.
Does it concern you that your daughter has just run away from home?
That's a loaded question.
Until help arrives, I'm deputizing the little guy, the skinny one, and the boy with the patch on his eye to come with me in the station wagon.
C'est le temps de l'amour, le temps des copains et de l'aventure.
What am I looking at?
He does watercolors, mostly landscapes, but a few nudes.
If we find him, I'm not going to be the one who forgot to bring a weapon. Me neither.
Where's the boy? I'm told that he's just been struck by lightning.
It's true.
I'll be out back. I'm going to find a tree to chop down.
All right, Tim. So what were your first impressions of this movie?
Yeah, so I had a very different reaction from when I first watched it, all the way back in 2012. I was only about like 10 years old, I think, when I saw it. So for me, that was my first introduction to Wes Anderson and his very specific, unique style of filmmaking. So I wasn't a huge fan back then because it didn't really hit on the points that I was looking for as a 10-year-old, which are very different now. So rewatching it again was very refreshing for me. I realized how much I appreciated the movie, and I liked it a lot more this time. Just now that I've seen a few Wes Anderson movies too, I understand his style, and this is what he does. So I really enjoyed this one a lot more than the first time I watched it. What about you?
I actually had a very similar reaction. I remember seeing it at this small little theater back in Boston when I was about 10 to 12 years old. And I had always seen it with this one friend, and the two of us would always go see Wes Anderson movies. And I remember being like, I don't quite understand what's happening, but I guess it's pretty fun. And then when I went back and watched it again, I just fell in love with it. It's just the awkwardness, the colors, the characters. It's just something so purely Wes Anderson that I think it's really enjoyable when you're looking for a bit more of an artistic piece, but that still has a really fun plot.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the characters too, and that was such a huge part for me on this watch, on this viewing for me, because you notice with Wes Anderson he has these very kind of childish adult characters, and then the children, which were kind of the main focus of this movie, are very mature for their age. So that's a really interesting dichotomy to look at between those two kind of groups. So I really appreciated that, and it's like it adds to that sense of kind of like, you know, almost like it's, you know, you're watching a movie, because it's like not these characters, like they seem so written for the screen, but they work so well at the same time. So that was something that I really liked on this viewing.
Definitely. They all have these really specific quirks, which are just so unique that, like you said, it totally reads as a movie, but it also feels like you're a kid again and you're watching everything through their eyes. Especially Sam, he's just so uncomfortable and awkward that he really does remind me of how I was when I was really little. And I think a lot of times these coming-of-age movies, they're played by these 28-year-old actors. They seem like all these middle schoolers, high schoolers seem like they've got their life put together. But just the awkward tension and this sense of childish adventure, I think really reads through in this script. And I think a lot of what it is just purely the art direction, the use of color. So I wanted to hear what you thought about those.
Yeah, that was a huge point, especially in this film. I think kind of the main colors that I saw were kind of like khaki and yellow and like kind of green, so kind of these earthy tones that really kind of, you know, connected the characters to the earth and, like, you know, this New England island that they're on, and kind of there's definitely a sense of connection between nature and the characters, which I really appreciated, and that was really cool to see through those colors. And also, you know, obviously Wes Anderson is a very, you know, kind of symmetry is a big thing for him in all of his shots, so to see that kind of just, you know, consistent in all of his in all the shots of the movie, like with the tents and like the lighthouse and everything like that, that was really great to see. So I really like that. It's not usually the art direction isn't something I'm usually looking for in a film, so to see that, you know, kind of play such a prominent role in this movie was really refreshing for me.
Definitely, and I think that's just very Wes Anderson. He really plays with the different planes in the movie. Like, one of my favorite shots is that long tracking shot as they're walking through the camp, and the camp leader is inspecting all of their products, and it really just plays along this flat surface, but it almost reads like, I like to feel like it reads like a book, like you're just scanning along and meeting everybody, and it's quirky and it's fun, and it really allows you to get to know the characters, and it gives the actors a chance to shine. So speaking of the actors, did you have a favorite portrayal or anybody you really loved in this movie?
Yeah, I loved, like you mentioned, Sam was such a great character. I loved his actor. And Bill Murray is a frequent in all of Wes Anderson's movies. He's always so funny to me. So to see him in this role was great. But yeah, all the child actors were huge for me because I think they did such a great job of portraying their roles, and I think that's also a testament to Wes Anderson's directing too, to be able to get those authentic performances out of such young actors. Like you mentioned, usually, you know, you're bringing in these 20-something-year-olds to play these these high schoolers, and it's very unrealistic, and you can tell right off the bat that this isn't like a real, you know, high schooler. So to see these actual, like, you know, matching age actors working in this film and having Wes Anderson be able to bring out those performances in them was something that I really, really appreciated.
Definitely. And you mentioned Bill Murray. I think his humor goes hand in hand with Wes Anderson's script. It's a little bit understated and I think underappreciated by a lot of people, which I'm sure is why we had that reaction when we were little kids seeing it. But looking back, it's not necessarily my favorite Wes Anderson movie, but it's definitely up there. And I think a lot of that ties in with just the entire setting. So I know both of us are from New England. How did watching that make you feel? Did it remind you of being a kid?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it got a few bonus points for that New England island note. I was right off the coast of Cape Cod, so, you know, I'm kind of familiar with that area. So that was very nice to see, and it just kind of brought back in me that sense of adventure that I had when I was really a young kid, and seeing these kids like adventure on this island and kind of just go off on this cool quest. That was really something that kind of connected with me, that I was able to connect with in the film. So I really appreciated that, and I thought that it made the movie viewing experience just that much better for me.
Definitely. So overall, what would be your favorite part of the movie?
Favorite part of the movie, I think probably just, I love that climax in the church again. That's a really great moment, because what I really like about it is that this isn't a movie with super high stakes. Like, I mean, you know, it's these two kids on this journey and the adults trying to track them down and separate them, and it's, you know, on paper it's not this huge big like climactic end, but what it really, like, Wes Anderson really has a talent for making those small scenarios feel really big and grandiose at the end. And it felt like just honestly, like, I had the same reaction to like a Marvel movie, like a final battle. Like, I was very, you know, caught up with what was happening on screen, and it was very exhilarating, so I think that was a huge moment for me. What about you?
Definitely. I felt that way. The scene at the beach when they're dancing, it's just so funny and so quirky, and I think as I've gotten older, I've really come to appreciate those really small moments where you're able to get to know the, like, emotions between two characters. Alright, so wrapping up, what would be your overall rating for this movie?
Overall rating, I think 7.5 out of 10. It's a great movie. It's not my genre typically, but Wes Anderson does have a great sense of style, and he has honestly mastered his craft at this point with Moonrise Kingdom, so I think it really shown his talent in this movie. So 7.5 out of 10 is where I'm comfortable. What about you?
Definitely. I would give it an 8 out of 10. I love the genre. I love anything grounded coming of age. That being said, when you hold it up against his other movies, I think it was a little bit slower at points. That being said, having watched it again and again, every time I watch it, I'm able to see something new that I absolutely love.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to be it from us. Back to you guys at the desk.
That's all for this week. If you want to follow more Review Crew content, go to the Review Crew Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, as well as Orange TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and YouTube.
Find the Review Q's podcast on Spotify or on our website at orangetvnetwork.syr.edu, where you can also find our blog and more Orange TV Network information.
Check out this week's screening hosted by University Union F9.
See you next week.